I'm in a foreign country. Like, I'm not going to jail in Germany. Like, no, I'm coming home.
Yo, what's up, Ordinary Freaks? Here with a new episode. Today, we got, of course, Eddie, myself, B, and we got Shawn DeKay from Dream Lab. I hate saying coffee shop because it's much more than that.
Yeah. I feel like it is as well. So we'll call it a creative cafe.
Creative cafe.
Yeah.
There we go, man. So let's go into detail. What does that mean? What is this place, this coffee shop, this creative cafe to you?
Honestly, it's my dream lab. That's why I called it Dream Lab. I opened it because I was sick of the 9-to-5. I've always been into art my whole life. And over the last couple of years, I've got to the point where I wanted to focus on that art or make it a real part of my life. And in Milwaukee, it's kind of hard to pay your bills just painting and stuff like that. So, I was like, okay, I'll sell some coffee. What do people want in a place where they want to create? They want something good to drink, maybe a little hookah to smoke on, a beer to keep the juices flowing. So I was like, I'll sell all this stuff and somehow, some way, I'm going to make an artistic living. Yeah. So to me, the coffee, although it's quality, and the hookah and the beer, that's all secondary. To me, it's all about the art and my dream and living it.
That's awesome. So. That's definitely one thing I wanted to touch on is you do have a coffee shop, but the lab it's extremely more, way more than that. We wouldn't have been doing this right now in this space if it wasn't for the actual Dream Lab, right? So can you go a little more in depth and what people can expect to see in this space? Because obviously you have a lot of art being represented by all this Milwaukee artists, and obviously you just mentioned that Milwaukee's being that it's maybe the Rust Belt city, we don't have a lot of traction in that sense. Do you see that being progressing at any point? And obviously you're being part of that change. How do you see that going forward?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I think it's progressing tremendously over the last 2 years. I think Milwaukee used to be at a spot, a very cutthroat community. It's like, I'm doing this. I can be the only one doing this. I have to be the best one doing this. And I feel over the last couple of years, it's changed. I see people collaborating. We're collaborating right now.
Yeah.
Right. We collaborated for the 414 shirt release. That's how I met you guys. Yeah. And that's what I want this place to be, the creative hub. That's what I want people to expect when they come in here. I want them to come in here knowing they'll see someone painting. They'll meet some guys like you who do a podcast. At any given moment, anything can happen in here. And that's what I want. It sounds funny, but I want anything artistic or creative to spark in this spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think so far, so good. I've had a podcast release in here. We're doing a podcast now. I had a news crew in here the other day filming Mauricio doing a special in the back for PBS. And literally every day I'm having some sort of cool conversation or creating the next creative venture with someone. And honestly, that's what I want. I want this place to be the place people come when they need a spark, when they need to work out an idea, or when they just want to chill and get creative.
Yeah, that's why you had a music video the other day too.
Last Sunday, we closed down a couple hours early and had a full crew in here. They're doing a music video. I think it should be out in a week or two. Yeah, man.
So sick.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's been a good ride.
Getting more into the art aspect of things, what does art mean to you? When did you, get into it? And are you still kind of, in a sense, you're still pursuing that, but what does it mean to you?
Honestly, if we're gonna dive deep here, art saved my life. So, I got back to it in, middle school, high school. I'm from the South Side. I grew up around here my whole life. I went to Forest Home. I went to Kazi. I went to South Division.
Gotcha.
And I know it's going to sound funny for the white guy to say this, but I was a minority for a small second in life. Literally there's 4 white kids in my high school freshman class.
All right, I can see that.
I realized at an early age I can kind of draw. So I went to high school and I was like, okay, so graffiti, that's what we're doing these days.
Oh, yeah.
It's I can do this. So I joined up with a group of guys and I started doing graffiti, and it got me through high school unscathed. And then after that, I always had a love for graffiti, the culture of it, like everything to do with it. It was a rush, it was a culture, it was a movement, it was everything, and it was amazing, and it still is amazing. But at some point, you move on from that. And when I moved on from graffiti, I started, okay, I can still use spray paint, but I can do realistic things now. It don't have to be just these letters that represent a crew or a person or this or that. Right. And I started doing murals. And then, maybe 2 years ago, I reached out to the Black Cat Alley project, and I helped them with that, got on board with that a little bit, made that happen. I was like, okay, so, this is like one of the first projects Milwaukee's doing with this outdoor art stuff, but we need more. Right. And we need it on a different scale, too. I think we needed to involve a little bit more of that graffiti culture because, that's where street art comes from. Yeah, it's popular now and it's cool, but it has roots. Right. And, you know what I'm saying? Those roots need to be developed and people need to know more about that. And I was just like, man, there's some cool opportunities in this city, and the city's finally open to them. Right. Like, let's do this. And I figured by opening this spot, I got a mural next door on the building right outside of here. And I'm like, there's opportunity now. We need to take advantage of this, and making a creative hub is where it's at. So here we are.
And that's dope that you mentioned Black Cat Alley because you were part, you just mentioned, but you were part of one of the biggest pieces there, right? The installations there?
See, I didn't do any of the artwork myself. I was just like, I was helping find some artists, organizing, make sure they had supplies. Like we had MTO come from Europe, and I climbed to the top of the Avalon Theater and was sitting on the ladder with him as he was like working out his ideas, and I was like, all right, this shit's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I do remember seeing that as it went up, and for me, like I also come from a graph background. I used to write, and I know what it means to live and die by your crew, and like those were your family members. Yeah. You basically sleep, bleed, you drink, you eat with them, it's all you do basically. And I think B knows, obviously we go way back to high school, and like we were cool. We were acquainted, but like he was obviously doing his thing and I was doing my thing, and that, like, I definitely get where that comes from. But like, I remember seeing that mural going up, and I was like, I was just like, is this real? Like, just it kind of shocked me, like seeing somebody paint the theater, because I was like, that's huge, that's big as hell for the city.
5 years ago in this city, I remember I think it was True School. So they were one of the first organizations that really tried to get kids into art and hip-hop and breakdancing and the culture and all the elements that come along with it. And I remember they did a mural. I forgot where it was at, but it was somewhere on the south side. And the city literally was like, no, this is graffiti, take it down. And they're like, no, we had building owners' permission. These are young kids who did it. And the city's like, no, we don't care. That makes us look bad. Take it down. And now they are paying people to do this stuff to buildings. And I'm just like, yeah, man, it's the time. And it was surreal. It was surreal, like risking jail time and everything else to do this stuff on buildings. And now people are seeking out people like me, like you, like other artists to do it, and celebrating it. And I think that's fucking awesome.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
You said something. If you do or don't want to go into depth, then that's cool. But you said it saved my life.
Yeah.
I don't think you went too deep into that. Why do you say it saved your life?
I said it saved my life because I don't think I would have made it through high school as easily without it. You know what I mean? Okay. I did join up with a big crew. They did, like you said, it was family. You lived, breathe, eat after school. They walked me to school. They walked me home. I was a scrawny little white boy. There's a lot of different gangs and neighborhoods that I had to walk through day in, day out, night in, night out to get to and from school, to get to and from my homie's house, to do whatever. Right. And if I didn't have, a group of guys willing to walk with me, willing to sit at the lunch table with me, like, I don't know if I would have made it, man. I seen, like, people died in my high school while I was there. Like, we used to get shut into high school. I remember one night we were trying to leave. It was 2:30, bell rang, let's go home. You have cops barricading the front door because there's people outside with assault rifles. I mean, I've seen people get shot outside of my school,
Right.
like classmates. Oh, where's this guy today? Oh, he got shot last night. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It wasn't an easy neighborhood or school to grow up in. And if I had to do that on my own, I don't think I could have. And
Gotcha.
my art skills led me to graffiti. Graffiti led me to a good group of guys. They had my back, and life went a lot easier than it could have went. So in the beginning, it saved my life. And now it's saving my life too, because I got into zombie mode, man, working 60 hours a week, waking up every day, not wanting to go to work. You know, the everyday struggle. And now, like, I'm happy. Like, my head is good. Like, I'm doing what I love. And, like, it fulfills me. You know what I mean? And I think people who walk around every day unfulfilled, they're dead, man. They're zombies. Are they here? Yeah. Are they breathing? Yeah.
Right.
But for what?
They're waiting for retirement.
But for what? Yeah. You're waiting to die, basically, and I'm not doing that anymore.
Do you remember that switch that when you were like, fuck, like, I'm over this, like, I'm going to do X, Y, Z? Or was it more kind of like you faced in, you planned? Or was there a, like, fuck, I'm dropping everything and pursuing my dream? Do you remember that switch and what made that switch happen?
It was a little bit of both. I don't think there's a switch where, like, today's the day, I'm going to quit my job.
All right, yeah.
But there was a switch. And this goes into another story I'm sure we'll probably get into, is I quit drinking a while back. And when I quit drinking, that was the light switch. The light switch was, yo, this ain't adding to my life anymore. It's taking from my life. I'm not happy anymore. This ain't fun anymore. That kind of thing. So when that switch went off, a whole lot of things in my life started changing. People started changing. What I would do on the weekend started changing. How I viewed life started changing. And it got to the point where, like, I realized that my day in, day out, my routine of going to work, partying on the weekends, like, I was stuck in a routine. And when I quit drinking, like, I got shook. You know what I mean? Like, I was forced. My life got shaken up. I lost a lot of friends. Yeah. I had to change the things I was doing. And then, you know, I traveled. I went to, well, what it really was, I stopped drinking and I started going to hookah lounges because I'm a social guy. I need people. I need to be out. I need to be mingling. I need to be expressing myself. So I started smoking hookah a lot, and I started going to a hookah lounge on the east side. And I was like, man, this place is cool. This is chill. Like, and it just so happens I went to Germany like a couple months later, and there was a hookah shop because I was looking for something to do. So I found this hookah shop, and right next to it was a graffiti store. Like, they sold spray cans, they had labels, they had markers, but it was two separate entities owned by the same guy though. And I'm like, man, I can do this. I can do this. And that was like the spark that gave me the idea to actually open it. And I was out there with my homie and I was talking to him. He was like, man, you should do it. I was like, I can. Milwaukee's ready. I'm ready. Like, my head's here. My money's here. Like, I'm ready. I came home. I started looking for a building. So I had the idea initially in June. And by October, I signed my first lease, and I just jumped in.
Damn. That's dope. You found that in Germany, because I know when you go over there, they still embrace that, like, graffiti hip hop culture like a ton. Like, you'll see a bunch of stuff still up. They don't go in white painting, you know. It's still up there.
Crazy, and I think that's what I like most about Berlin was, like, Berlin now is how New York was in the early 90s, late 80s. Like, they took a while to get there, but now they are embracing it like a crazy amount. I mean, I don't know if I should say this on camera, but it's cool. Like, I actually, you know, did a piece on the Berlin Wall. And, like, sick. I came home and I'm like, holy shit, dude, it's the Berlin Wall. That's history.
Not all people get to see that.
You did art on the Berlin Wall. And today, that's still probably one of the coolest places I've ever done art.
Man.
Yeah, it was a real good time.
Wow, that's props. I give you props for that. Did I mean, I know there's the wall is sanctioned for artists to come in and stuff like that, but did you feel sketched, like, when you started doing it, where you were like, wait, should I be doing this?
Like, super sketch. And I made sure, I even sat back for a couple minutes to make sure I wasn't the only person that I could see doing it. I'm in a foreign country. Like, I'm not going to jail in Germany. Like, no, I'm coming home. But everyone, there's an art store maybe 3 blocks from the park. So there's a big park. It's kind of like what Central Park would be in New York.
Okay.
And so that's kind of, there's a piece of the Berlin Wall left there. And that's kind of like the place where it's okay to go piece or okay to go do your artwork. So I went and bought some cans from the store. I asked the clerk, I was like, are you sure it's okay? He's like, yeah, go ahead. I go to the park. I'm asking like little parents for their kids, like, are you sure it's okay? They're like, yeah. So it's not legal per se, but I mean,
it's like
the cops don't care. The city don't care. They're like, if you're going to do it here. Okay. And I was probably one of 10 people in broad daylight doing it. Cool. So I'm not a badass. Like, it wasn't super illegal or anything like that. But it was, of course, but it's still the Berlin Wall. Like, I had to do it.
You sprayed one of the most, known walls in history. I mean,
exactly.
It's like someone painting the Great Wall of China or something.
Exactly.
It's a devising structure that was made by mankind to say like, you're not allowed here. Like, no, you painting it signifies way more. It's kind of like artists that go to like the Israeli wall division and like plastic, like, I mean, Banksy has done it, JR has done it. For the people that like might know them, like those are few bigger names that like have done pieces and they signify more to those people, that I think it's really cool that art brings everybody together. And it could mean a lot of things for a lot of other people, like maybe something that you might have done means something completely different than what me might be getting out of it. But at the same time, it's like bringing us together to have that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the important part about it.
Absolutely.
And I think this is what you're doing here, like the Dream Lab is basically having those conversations and keep going with like your pursuit of whatever that might be. But as long as you're doing it in a holistic way.
Yeah. And I don't know what that pursuit will be. I mean, right now, it's let's do some cool art stuff. Let's meet some cool people. Let's collaborate as a city. Let's blow up. I mean, maybe it'll last a year. Maybe it'll last 10. Who knows where this will take me next? I mean, but yeah, it's art is a beautiful thing. It brings people together. It brings ideas together. And then it can propel you to places you've never thought you would go in life. And it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
That's dope. You mentioned... from June to October, that's kind of what it took you, Idea Spark, Germany, to signing your first spot. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I guess the actual, I have to open a coffee shop, or the business side of it. What was your background? Did you have any experience? And how the hell did you go from, I want to do this, to, shit, we're sitting in the Dream Lab right now?
Man, I wish I had experience. Like, I really wish I had some sort of background. But no, man, I had the idea, and there was just something inside me, and it was like, man, you have to do it. Like, I've had a million ideas my whole life. I'm an idea guy, but I've never followed any of them through. And just something inside of me knew this was the time to follow through. So I had the idea. I did some research for about 2 months. Cost analysis. This is what I need. This is all the machinery I'm gonna need. These are all the permits I'm gonna need. And I literally just studied and researched every day. I was at City Hall every other day finding out what permit I needed, how I filled this one out wrong, how to make sure I don't fill it out wrong, whatever it was. I was literally just learning on the fly. And like, that's the thing I say too, like, if this door closes tomorrow, if this business don't work, because come on, let's be realistic, not every business works. If that door closes tomorrow, this was successful to me. I had no accountant, I had no lawyer, I had nobody holding my hand through the process. Like, I pretty much got a college degree. And if this door closes tomorrow, I had an idea, I seen it through, I did it alone. I can do anything now. Right. If I can do that, I can do anything.
All right.
So like, I'm good either way. So like, there's no failure involved in this for me. And I think that's what makes it easier. And I think that's what makes the vibe good. And I think that's what makes me want to do it every day, is that I'm not facing failure in the face. I'm facing, hey, this is my place of business. This is my clubhouse. This is my art studio. Let's just go have fun. And I try to keep that attitude every day. It's hard. Yeah. I've had a couple bad weeks lately, and it's just like, oh shit, like things are getting real. But then I took a little vacation this weekend. I centered myself, and I'm back to, we're having fun. We're gonna make this work. I'm gonna make it work because this is what I do, and I don't have any other options. So let's go. Let's go.
That's dope for sure. I wanted to touch on, just because people like you said, we have so many ideas, but I think a lot of people lack, you know, the execution, going through everything. And for you, like, it's crazy to think. It's like, I mean, what's that? June to October, June, July,
Dude, that's
August.
yeah,
September.
it's
That's
nothing. It's like 4 months.
Dude, that's nothing, you know. And you were able to execute in that time, and you know, use those resources. We got City Hall. I'm sure you were on Google like 80% of the time, and I think at this date and age, like, people should be aware of that. You know, we have those. It's easier than ever. Before you would have to, I know this person, do this, do that. Now it's just like, let's go to City Hall, and here we are. You know,
it's possible, man. I think if people can get over the fear, like that's why I give you guys props. That's why I give anybody who's doing what they want to do props, because literally there's 5 to 10% of people in the world who just jump, who go after their dream. I'm sure there's a lot of people out here walking around with ideas, but they're too scared to do it. They're too scared to quit their job. They're too scared to go hungry. They're too scared to let their family down. Too scared for whatever it may be. Too scared that they'll succeed. I think some people are scared of success, to be honest.
Yeah.
And anybody who's willing to you know, cover their eyes and just jump and go for it, like, man, you get all my respect, no matter what you're doing, no matter how you decide to do it. I don't care, man, because you're 10% of the people on the planet who are actually living. And to me, that's the dopest quality you can have.
Yeah, that's sick.
shit. Thank you.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because like for the longest, I don't know if I was scared of heights or anything like that, but I mean, you know, obviously going back to graffiti, like, I don't want to mention it, but like climbing up fire escapes and like looking down, and like you're in a rooftop and like it's kind of shady up there, and you're like looking down and you're like maybe 5 stories up, and you're like, oh yeah, if I fall right now, that's probably the end of me, or I'm not walking away from this one. But like I've always been afraid of like bungee jumping and things like that. And I don't know why, bro, but like lately I've been researching like a place to go bungee jump somewhere, because I just want to like jump, you know, like actually physically jump. I already did the mental jump, so I'm like, I want to see what that feels like of just, you know, like, and I don't know, like I see people like just throwing themselves, and I'm like, man, like even like right now, like I'm like thinking about it, I'm like nervous.
You're shaking thinking about it.
Right, that'd be super sick to just do it. Like I never really done that before. So.
Jump out of a plane, man. Forget the bungee cord. Skydive.
I haven't done it, but I want to do it.
I feel like bungee. I feel like the bungee for me feels less safe than the parachute. I don't know why.
No, I kind of agree with that. Like, I have jumped out of a plane before, but I don't think I would bungee jump. Like, my life is like on this little rubber band. Like, if it expands too much, I'm gonna hit the concrete. If it don't, like, I don't know. Like,
I feel like I have to lose a little bit of weight before I go. I don't know if they rate those two certain. I'm like, nah, I'd rather be light as possible.
Yeah, man, just make the jump again. Whatever jump it is, a plane, a bungee, a diving board. Just, you got to do it, man. You just got to do it.
That's awesome.
Damn.
Well, before we move to our other segment of questions, is there anything else you want to add to the conversation? Any future plans? Anything as far as Dream Lab, yourself?
I mean, I don't want to do too much self-promotion. I just like having a conversation with you guys. The thing with Dream Lab is I know I'm lacking a little bit on promotion, and I can do better and things like that, but like, if it's gonna work, it's gonna work, and I'm a firm believer in that. And I think doing things like this is the best promotion, and people finding out organically that there's this cool ass spot that you can go create, or you can go record a podcast if you don't have a place to do it, or shoot a music video, or just, you know, talk to other creative heads. I think like them seeing this podcast is going to be so much more beneficial than any billboard I could buy.
Of course.
Because it's people that are going to want to be here that are watching this. So, I mean, I don't want to sit here and, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's just like, we're a cool ass spot. Come check us out. I mean, as far as expansion goes, if I can make this front area work, I have a whole area in the back that I'm going to dedicate to art studios for people who don't have a space to create. But it takes money. So let's make this work, and then we'll do that. Baby steps, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, and to you guys watching this, like, I think me and Eddie can attest to Shawn is a dope ass guy. Like, I remember Gabi episode 2 actually with his 4. Is it 4? Shit, my bad. Episode 4 what you mentioned with the shirts, that's how you met us. Like, I think you met him the night before, or like, shit. And I don't know, night or Thursday,
The
2 days
week of,
before, the
whatever,
week of. Dude, Shawn was down. Like, let's do it. I opened my shop to you guys. I think we had a pretty good turnout. Like,
you had a great turnout.
You had people here. You know, people were, like you said, this came about this. People were drinking coffee, drinking beer, buying shirts, and I just want to make sure you guys know, like, check it out. And if you guys have an idea, if you just want to just talk to Shawn. Shawn will talk your ears out.
Here I am. Hey.
It'll be a good time. So definitely check out Dream Lab in front of Tech High School. You guys know where that's at. So
hell yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
No,
Appreciate
for sure. So you want to move to the ordinary freak questions?
So let's get to those questions.
I didn't know there was Q&A. Okay.
This is like the Q&A after.
Do I got to stretch it out? Get ready? All right, let's go.
So obviously you talked about how, being part of that crew saved, quote unquote, your life in high school. So for those kids in high school that are either about to graduate or just recently graduated, that don't know what they want to do, don't have maybe that art right or that instinct, or maybe they do and they just don't know what that next step is going to be, what would you tell that person?
Play it out, man. I'm probably the worst guy in the world to ask this question to when it comes to kids, because I'm just a firm believer in living your best life. And I mean, sometimes you're 18. You don't know exactly what you're going to be for the rest of your life. It's okay to explore a few options. If you like to make music, try it out for a little bit. If you like to cook, try it out for a little bit. Right. You don't have to figure your life out the first 6 months out of high school. And I think that's the problem with a lot of kids. There's so much pressure to, I have to pick a major in college. I have to do this. Yeah, man, college is great. Go to college, kids. If you have the chance, go to college. Right. But there's other ways to be successful, to be happy, to be happy. Like, that's the key to me, is to be happy. So, I mean, you know what? Take your time with things, figure it out, explore a few things, and then dig deep down inside. You're always going to know what makes you happiest, and you're always going to know what you like to do. Like, when you're alone, when you're not out partying, when you're not on social media, what are you doing in your free time? Because what you're doing in your free time is what you love to do. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people don't think that. They think they're relaxing or stress relief. Like, art used to be stress relief for me, but that's because I loved it. Right. So you'll find out what you love, and it won't take long. And when you find out what you love, man, go all in. Just go all in. You have time. I'm 35 now. I just turned 35. It took me 33 years to figure out it was okay to do what you love. Mm-hmm. Don't wait till you're 33.
And even then, I mean, do you feel old by any means?
Not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all.
Like, I don't know. For me, like, it was the same way. Like, I thought I was, like, by 25, I got to figure out my whole life. And then I'm like, man, I'm like 23. Like, I haven't figured out shit. So I was just like, but then my mom was like, dude, I'm like 50. I still feel like I could go another 50. So I was just like, damn, all right. I'm not doing too bad then.
Absolutely.
Right. What's the best advice you ever gotten, and from who?
Oh, man. I wish you guys would have gave me these ahead of time so I could have thought about them.
No, man, that's the point.
Best advice?
Spot.
I think I'm going to say I once heard a teacher say, people make people. And I know that sounds really simple, but
those are the best.
Again, it was high school. This teacher, his name was Mr. Rotella. I don't remember any of my teachers' names, but I remember his for some. I think it's because he died a couple years later, so it kind of sticks with you. But he was like the coolest, chillest teacher. Like, there's a lot of bad kids. He never yelled. He never swore. He never got frustrated. And then one day, I seen him get frustrated. There was two kids like fighting, and like they were literally about to fist fight. And Mr. Rotella got so upset that he downgraded a kid. Like, he literally, excuse my language, shit on this kid's life. He was like, you guys are knuckleheads. If you guys, and I'm saying this in a nutshell, he said more in other words, but in a nutshell, he basically said, if you guys would just realize that you guys can talk and help each other, you guys will go so much further in life. But you're so worried about being the best, being the one, not needing anybody, that you rather fight this guy than get to know who he is. And he basically said, you guys are going to be failures because of that until you change your attitude. And it just made so much sense to me. Like, people make people. Like, I need you guys for exposure. You guys need me topic.
Yeah,
I mean, I need artists to feed off my creative vibe. I need customers to buy my coffee. And it goes beyond what you can take from people or use people for. It's humans yearn for connection too.
Right.
And it's like, you need people. And when you get out of your own way and you give people a chance and you open up, like, it's a beautiful thing. You meet so many dope souls. Like, if you just walk around judging a book by a cover, or being mad about everything, or spreading rumors, or being full of drama, like, you're missing out on so many cool people and so many cool opportunities. And I just think, people make people. It's true. It's dope. I like it.
No, that's dope. And I mean, when you first said it, for me, I thought about mentorship, like take it a step further, you know?
Yeah.
You see a kid, you see, especially, I mean, we're all from the South, you know, I was born and raised on the South side of Milwaukee. It's like, people might not have that person or that, you know, that figure that they can look up to and maybe pull them, you know, bring them with, I like to say, it's like pull as you climb.
Yeah,
that's
pull
it. Pull as you climb, you know? So as we're doing our stuff and trying to be out here successful, like you say, you know, you followed your idea, we're following our idea. It's like, you know, pull those people, give them the spark, help them out. So when you first said it to me, I thought about kind of mentorship and helping someone else to take it a step further.
And see, we looked at it 2 different ways, and I think that's super dope. And now I'm going to look at it that way a little bit. And it goes both ways, and it can mean so many things to so many people. But if we weren't having this conversation, I would have never got that piece of information from you. I could never think that, you know what I'm saying, pull as you climb. And now that's probably going to stick in the back of my head. And look at that. People are making people. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I like it. I like it.
What did just happen?
Right.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Let's go to the next one.
All right.
If you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and where would you take them?
I'm going to be a little corny on this one.
Do it.
I'm going to say my pops. My dad died like 5 years ago. And growing up, we didn't have like a very great relationship. Like, he lived with me my whole life, but he was an alcoholic. I was a crazy teenager. We didn't like ever get a chance to talk much. But then he got diagnosed with cancer when I was like 15. And my mom left him in the same week that he got diagnosed with cancer. So his doctor's like, if you don't quit drinking tomorrow, you're going to die. So he lost his wife. He lost the only thing he knew in drinking. And if I would have left him, he would have lost any support system he had too. So I wound up staying with him, and we got cool. And shit, he became my best friend. Like, he helped me out of so many jams in my life. And it's just crazy how I went. And I hate saying this out loud because it fucks with me inside, but I hated my dad as a kid. Yeah. Like, I remember a teacher asking me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's like, not my dad. Like, that was my answer. I didn't want to be a firefighter. I didn't want to be my dad. And then, like, shit just changed. And it's like, man, without my dad, dude, I'd be in a rough place in life. Before he died, like, he was, you know, in the hospital. He kind of knew what he was going and stuff. And my dad wasn't like a very sentimental guy. He was like a manly man. Yeah. And so, like, we never like really hugged or anything like that. It was like, you know, be good, son, or whatever it was, you know what I mean? And like, I went to visit him in the hospital, but I had to go to work. And I was like, all right, Pops, I'm getting out of here. And he like grabbed my hand. He was like, all right, make sure you call me after work. I was like, yeah, of course. And I tried to walk out, and he grabbed me again, and he gave me like this weird ass look. He's like, no, like, call me when you get out of work. But I was working third shift. I got out of work at like 1 a.m. My dad's sick in the hospital, basically dying. I'm like, okay, he's sleeping. I'm going to go there in the morning. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to figure out what he wanted. And no morning came, man. He died that night. And it drives me absolutely nuts. He wanted to tell me something. Yeah. Like, I know my dad. He don't act like that. Yeah. So, like, it drives me absolutely nuts that I couldn't pick up a phone. Yeah. I mean, I know I did it for him, but I still should have just fucking did it. Yeah. And so, like, I want that conversation. I want to know, like, I want to know what you had to say. Even if it was just goodbye, I want that chance. Yeah. So where would we eat? I don't know. Leon's. He like Leon's. I'll go pick it up. Yeah. We'll go sit on the porch. Tell me what you needed to tell me. Yeah. And let me thank you for what you did to me or for me. Before it's too late, but so yeah, man, I keep it simple.
That's so dope. That's not carding at all, bro.
All right,
right, bro.
All right.
And I'm sure a lot of people will relate to that too.
Yeah. That was that's one I wish I could get back for a second.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, we asked all these questions or a variation of it, but our last question, obviously, we are the Ordinary Freaks. Ordinary Freaks. We love our name. People love our name. It's up to interpretation. Mm-hmm. On a scale from 1 to 10, how weird are you? How much of a freak are you? And why?
I think it's cool to be weird and be a freak now. Like it's the thing to do.
Yeah,
so
right.
if I had to answer right now, I'm gonna be like 1, because like I don't want to be cool. No, but I don't know, man. It's like you said, it's open to interpretation. Do I think I'm weird? I mean, I know I'm not normal. I know I'm not some zombie walking out there playing by all life's rules. So I'm definitely not ordinary. I'm definitely a little bit of a freak if I just take the jump to do what the hell I want and not play by life's rules. But I can't even put a number of 1 through 10. No. I mean, because to someone watching this, they'll be like, "Yo, wow, he actually did it. Dude's crazy. He's a 10." Yeah. But to me, it's like, if you don't do it, you're crazy. You're a 10. So if we're gonna go on that scale, I'm a 1, because I'm just doing what I believe everyone should do.
That's sick.
So we'll like reverse that one.
That's it.
Yeah. No, and to be honest, it's like a love-hate relationship with this question, because it's like we don't want to ask it, but we do. Yeah. But every time we ask it, we just get something like it's different. That's like
it's a good question.
And that's a good question. Like, because I mean, freak. The word freak obviously has a lot of negative, or even weird. Has a lot of negative connotation to it. But at the same time, it means so much more to other people. Right. Like a lot of sometimes they get stomped. They're like freak, like is it freaky? Like I'm like, well, whatever you want to be.
Hey, if that's how you read it,
that's how you want to define it. By all means, but like for us, it's like we kind of like we don't want to make it seem like we're all weird and shit, but at the same time, it's like no, like speak your truth. Like, what do you think what that means? So.
And it even has that dual meaning, because you're saying ordinary freak. Like, I'm an ordinary guy, but I'm a freak because I do this, or that, or I'm not ordinary because I don't do this. It's a for one, it's catchy, so I just like it. But for 2, it's got like that duality to it. I like it. Like, you can interpret that however you want. And it's it's an easy way to interpret.
I just wanted to bring that up because every time before I ask it, I'm like, all right, here we go. But
what am I gonna get this time?
Yeah, but then when I get the answer, it's like that's why you ask it, because you get that interpretation. I think Eddie can attest. Like, we've, where there's times where we've been like, damn, should we even be asking this anymore? But it's like you get answers and you're like, yeah, we're gonna keep asking. Yeah,
definitely.
All right, man. So thank you.
Sweet. Thank you, man.
Dope.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for opening up your doors for us.
Absolutely. Anything I can do to help in any way in the future,
yes,
come to the lab.
Come to the lab, man. We've been in the lab. Like I said before, I'm not gonna repeat myself, but man, it's a dope spot. Shawn opens the doors to everyone and anyone, and it's all love in here. I will say that. So.
Cool.
One thing, actually, let the people know where they can find you. I know you don't want to self-promote, but shit, what's your Instagram handle? So
I can promote this.
All right.
So the address is 327 West National.
There we
it's
go.
A nice little duck-off spot right across the street from the school, like you said. Instagram, we're Dream Lab MKE. Facebook, you can find us, Dream Lab Milwaukee. And then if you want to, email me and chit-chat or send some art submissions or whatever, it's dreamlabmke@gmail. Super simple.
Oh, nice. Yep. Nice.
All right. Thank you, Ordinary Freaks. Cool. We'll see you next time. Peace.